The first alert came from the Lunar Transfer Station. An unregistered vessel had dropped something massive, into Earth's upper atmosphere before vanishing into FTL. At first, the analysts assumed it was hostile debris, maybe biological waste from one of the expansionist alien empires that skirted the outer Sol sectors. But as its descent path stabilized, our sensors picked up something peculiar. The object wasn't tumbling. It was guided. Almost, gently. I was part of the retrieval team sent to intercept it before it hit the Pacific. Our shuttle latched onto its rotating hull at 3:12 Universal Time Coordinated. The object was matte black, hexagonal, with warning sigils etched across its sides, none of them in a language our AI translators could fully decode, but one symbol repeated often enough to understand. Quarantine. Contaminated. Do not open. That was the first clue that something was terribly wrong. The second came when we heard knocking from inside. We cut through the outer plating with thermal saws. Steam hissed out, followed by a smell that wasn't decay or chemicals, it was simply human. Sweat, recycled air, too many bodies living too close together. What we found behind the alloy barrier made my knees buckle. Rows of cryopods. Hundreds. Then thousands. Stacked in vertical honeycomb walls, each holding a sleeping child. Some barely toddlers. Some not even born, still in artificial gestation sacs, suspended in nutrient gel. A diagnostic panel flickered to life as our suit lights hit it. Population count, 12,004. Species, human, Terran stock. Status, non-viable. Contaminated. Disposal ordered. I remember whispering into my comm. What monsters throw away children? Command scrambled every medical team in the orbital network. Within an hour, shuttles were docking with the container, transporting the pods to the ISS Arc lab. Not all the pods were stable. Some had failing life support, some had never been meant to arrive alive. We worked until our hands cramped inside our gloves. By dawn, half the world knew. By noon, all of it did. The children woke slowly over the next 10 days. They spoke none of Earth's languages. Their bodies bore microscarring consistent with genetic sampling. But the most horrifying detail came from the autopsy of a failed pod. These children had never lived on Earth. They had been grown, manufactured, in an alien facility. For study. For harvesting. Something between a lab sample and a petri dish population. Humanity reacted the only way our species knows how when someone tries to break us. We got angry. Unified. Focused. HFY. For the first time in decades, every nation agreed on something. Whoever had done this, whoever had taken our children and tossed them toward Earth like garbage, had just declared war on the entire human race. The turning point came when one of the older rescued children, a girl around 15, began speaking in halting English. Language implants, our linguists said. Her name was Ira. They called us contamination, she whispered during debrief. Not diseased. Not dangerous. Just, unnecessary. Why? I asked. She looked at me with eyes too old for her face. Because we learned too fast. We grew too fast. They said humans reproduce like wild animals. That we spread. That we don't obey. They needed only a few specimens. The rest, she gestured in a way that chilled me. Waste. It hit humanity like a shockwave, they were afraid of us. Of our potential. Of our speed, creativity, unpredictability. They feared what humans might become. And so they tried to cull us before we ever reached their part of the galaxy. The United Earth Fleet had been theoretical until that week. Suddenly, shipyards on Mars and Titan received unlimited funding. Quantum slipstream research was declassified. Every scientist who had ever proposed faster-than-light retaliation strategies was called back to work. Not for conquest. For a single purpose. Find who did this. Make sure they never hurt us, or any species, again. But on the ground, something unexpected happened too. The children, now 12,000 strong, became a symbol. Entire nations volunteered to adopt them. Schools competed to teach them. Cities fought for the honor of hosting them. They weren't mutants or mistakes or contamination. They were ours. The aliens had tried to erase a generation. Instead, they created the strongest one humanity had ever seen. On the day Ira first stepped outside the recovery facility, she looked up at the sky, a sky she had never expected to see, and asked me, "What will happen to the ones who did this?" I didn't have to think about the answer. Humanity, I said, doesn't throw its children away. Then the first United Earth warships ignited their engines, rising like dawn above the horizon. And we don't forgive the ones who try.